Hey friends, welcome to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast. I'm your host, Amanda Dare, a serial entrepreneur who has already made all of the money mistakes, so you don't have to. Now I'm working on my money mindset, expanding my companies, and having open conversations with women around a subject that shouldn't be so taboo, money. My company, Woman Owned Wallet, and I are determined to help you foster a more positive relationship with your wallet and help you create a life that makes you say, wow. Hey, moneymakers. Welcome back to another episode of Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast. Today's episode is giving calm confidence meets creative magic because we are joined by not one, but two amazing ladies that are changing the way families grow, learn, and love together. Meet Amanda and Kim, the duo behind Little Loving Lessons, a heart-led business rooted in community, education, and a whole lot of intention. Now, Amanda, she's up first, y'all. Amanda is the kind of a woman, and I'm sure a kind woman, but the kind of a woman who radiates wisdom and warmth. She's your go-to for soulful curriculum, gentle guidance, and big picture thinking. Whether she's designing a new lesson or dreaming up a book, she leads with love and clarity. Welcome to the podcast, Amanda. Give our friends a little bit of the vibes of your background.
Yeah, so even as a child, I always enjoyed listening to other people talking about their problems and seeing if I could help them, giving my advice, all of that. So as I got older and I was just looking through course catalogs in college, what can I do with my life? And I stumbled across social work and I was like, what's that? And then I got into the path of therapy. I started as an intern at a local community mental health agency here in Louisville. And from that, I got my licensed clinical social worker certificate. And I am a behavioral health therapist for children and families.
Behavioral health therapist.
Yes.
For children and families. She's got you both covered. And I'm sure there's so many of us that need that. So thank you for everything that you do and bring to the world. We're so happy to have you on the podcast.
Awesome. Thank you for having us.
And Kim brings grounded creativity to everything that she touches. She's a builder of community. I was builder, like Bob the Builder. My brain just went into that fun little place. But anyway, she's a builder of community, a thoughtful homeschooler, and a creative mind, always dreaming up new ways to connect learning and care. She brings intention and action together like few people can. So welcome to the podcast, Kim. Now give our friends a little bit of your background as well.
So I am a mother of two. I have a little 5-year-old girl and a little 3-year-old boy. And my background is in marketing. Actually, I learned about self-care and mental health from Amanda when we were both working at UPS. And so I love being creative and we love our books.
Yay. I'm so excited to get into that, Kim. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Together, Amanda and Kim are making gentle radicalism look so good. And today we're talking all about where it started, where it's going, and yes, how Penny, the piggy bank, who's our mascot here in WOW, might just be entering her book era. So before we get started with questions and coolness and all the things about Little Loving Lessons, which adorable name, by the way, obsessed, I first really love to talk about how we met each other, because a lot of these podcasts be out here and be like, I don't know who this person is. I'm just here to make a podcast and move on. And to me, I get a little bored of those. I like to have people on that I love and that I know and that I've been able to spend some time with so that we can really just vibe a little bit deeper than a lot of the podcasts get to go. So do y'all remember when we met?
Yes.
What were you out doing that day? Tell me about it.
We were having a community outreach day. We were really trying to spread awareness of our business, what we can offer our community. And we had selected a few different places throughout Louisville to go. We were hitting up some coffee shops, leaving flyers, business cards, talking to some other people. And we actually came into the storefront and was like, hey, here's what we have to offer. And an employee was like, oh, Amanda's actually over at the Wow Factor. Why don't you go over there? And so we just walked across the street and you were outside.
I was literally like walking over to the store.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got to give this girl a break. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? And then I walked up to two cuties popping across the street. And I was just like, hi, what's up? And that's where our love story began.
Yeah. And it was great.
I'm really proud of y'all for like getting out there.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Did you find success that day? I mean, besides us.
Obviously with you, yes. And you have a couple other friends that we are collaborating with that we actually met on the street with you, same day, same time. Yay.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
And I think I'm talking to them very soon, so they will be on the podcast this season as well. Oh, I can't believe it's season 6. Blows my mind sometimes.
So exciting.
Yes, absolutely. So, I mean, first collabs.
Yeah.
I'm real excited. But you did say I get to be the guinea pig, so I'm into that. We'll get into what we've got going on here at WOW and Little Loving Lessons in just a second. But again, I just really wanted to commend you because I feel like that's a really important step in your business is getting out there and not being like so scared of like what's going to happen. You just have to go and meet people and network and get out there a little bit. And that can really help your business grow. And look, now you're on the pod.
Yeah.
Do you feel fancy?
Yeah, and one reason that we did that was a focus of ours for this year in our business is to really support our community because our books are so full of love and our business is so full of love. And we not only want to sell books and get to know everyone, but we really want to establish true relationships. We want to support others and, you know, in time they'll support us back.
Absolutely. What a beautiful comment, Kim. I'm obsessed with y'all. So give us a little bit of the vibes, Little Loving Lessons. And like you kind of mentioned, Kim, in your opening is like where you and Amanda met. And I would love for you to share that story with everyone because it was so sweet. And I just really appreciated that. So I heard it from Kim and I just want to hear a little bit, or I heard it from Amanda and I want to hear it now from Kim.
Yeah, so Amanda and I worked at UPS together, and I was a cover soup in the Greens office, and she had gotten moved to our office, and she didn't know anyone, and was really wanting to make her comfortable, so I waved to her one day, and it made her feel better. And then she was working on her self-care plan. She had to turn that into her internship at 7 counties. And I was being nosy, so she sat next to me, and I was like, Mander, what are you working on? And she told me her self-care plan that she has to turn into work. And that was so different than I'd ever heard anything from a job, especially working at UPS. So that was mind-blowing to me. And from there, she taught me about self-care. One of the things she said was you need to have something monthly, weekly, and daily.
Ooh.
Yeah, and she said, and weekly is going to be me and you hang out every week. And then we became best friends.
Oh my gosh. Amanda. Look at you being all cutie over here.
Got a great friend out of it.
Absolutely. And then very intentionally.
Yeah.
I love to see that. Do you remember like what your daily, monthly, weekly vibes were? I guess we knew the weekly, but what were some of those like self-care things that you put on your list, or what are ones that you have on your list today?
My daily one, at least at the time, was taking showers because that was a quiet moment for me. I was alone. I didn't have my phone. People couldn't bother me. My cats couldn't bother me. It was truly just time alone for myself to reflect.
We know those cats be bothering us. I feel
definitely
you.
in the bathroom too. Always sneaking in. And now it has changed, and I think that's typical with a lot of self-care plans. It's going to evolve as you evolve as a person and the different experiences that you have through your day-to-day life throughout the years. Now I would say a daily self-care for me is reading. And so I read a lot of like enlightenment, positive psychology, fulfillment type books. And so that's where a lot of my self-care daily comes in now.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
And then monthly?
Monthly, I don't know if I have like an exact monthly one, but I definitely try to see friends at least once a month that I
Yeah.
don't often see. I see Kim all the time. We see each other. Oh, nails. Yeah. Monthly self-care can be nails.
Look at your nails.
So go into... Yes.
I feel like we need oh, you know how Dolly Parton started one of her, I don't know if it was Jolene, but it might have been. No, it was 9 to 5. Mm-hmm. Yes, we're getting 9 to 5. I can't strum my nails yet. I'm not that equipped yet. Wish I could play the spoons or something, but I did go to music school, but just mostly singing now instead. Well, we love to see it. We love to see how people get together. I love to see the intentionality as well. One, you wanted to make sure that she was comfortable. So you're like, Amanda, what's going on? And two, you were like, Kim, we're going to hang out weekly. That's what we're going to do. And so that intentionality from both your sides is what I think really created. You both had that openness and that readiness for that sisterhood / friendshipness hood. Yeah. I guess friendship's enough, but that friendship to really have that spark happen. Mm-hmm. And so I love to see that from y'all. And of course, you know that I'm on my journey to find my sisterhood and find all the girlies that are around me. And I saw y'all on the street and I was like, good heart, yes ma'am, let's chat. Because I don't just talk to everybody on the street. I do talk to a lot of people. I love to yap. But I don't talk to everybody on the street. And I think, that same day, y'all got to meet Raina and Candace from For Ladies' Sake. Like I said, they'll be on the pod. And I got to just start that little sisterhood expansion, for all of us. And I've seen y'all at some of their events. Mm-hmm. I've seen them supporting you and you supporting them. And it's just a beautiful... It's so cute. Makes my heart so happy, y'all. Well, Amanda, I feel like money can really feel like a loaded topic. And I think at first, maybe y'all weren't all the way sure. You're like, I don't know, a money book, because we haven't really dove into it yet. But we do know that we're going to tell all of them, that Little Loving Lessons is about kids' books that y'all have illustrated. Fancy artists over here. Oh, my goodness. And y'all have illustrated them, and you're really trying to tell this, empathetic story. And so when we started to look at that and maybe what we could do together, I don't think money was the first thing that y'all were ready to talk about. They're shaking their heads so hard, y'all. And no one was ready. And I was like, listen, I'm in therapy about money stuff, so it's a thing. And it's such a powerful thing. Mm-hmm. So as we kind of go through, we'll talk a little bit more about Little Loving Lessons and everything that y'all do. But what was kind of that first moment for Little Loving Lessons? Did one of you have the idea and then tell the other one? Where was that little spark? Tell me about it. They're so cute looking at each other. Oh, I need to have more duos on here. I just love to watch people interact. And I don't know. I just want to hear the spark and how it got started. So tell me about it.
So I would say the first thing was me and Kim would have weekly scrapbooking dates at her house. Every Sunday night we would scrapbook. And in one of those conversations, she had just casually mentioned something on her bucket list was to write a book. She wanted to be an author, have a published book. And that kind of just sat in the back of my head for a little bit. And I was in a session with a young child trying to teach want to versus have to. I was like, I don't have anything to teach this little 4-year-old this lesson. I wish I had a resource that would help me with this. And then I was watching a National Geographic documentary and saw a little story about baby turtles, and that book came to be. But I took the idea for that and brought it to Kim. I was like, hey, you want to write a book? I need resources for therapy to help these children. Mm-hmm. Let's just write children's books. So we had a few ideas to start off with. And we just got the idea going, and it was rolling from there.
I love to hear that. Oh, my goodness. And Kim, you're a mother of 2, and I had learned that y'all met during your last trimester of your first pregnancy. And so I'm sure kids were on your mind a little bit with that. So were you just let's jump in, or were you nervous? How did that come for you?
So I'm very enthusiastic about mental health now that I learned about it from Mander. And I had experienced postpartum depression. So that was something that I really wanted to help my kids with, is their mental health, and just give them a good example to follow, and I knew that I couldn't stay in that place. And so anything that had to do with mental health and helping kids, and especially my kids, learn the lessons that we teach in the books, I was all for it in any way that I could. And I'm also very creative, and we're both artsy. In marketing, I do have an entrepreneur mindset, so I was all ready for it.
Yeah, you were like, you know what? Let's do this thing. Yeah. And you're doing it with your bestie. So, like, what could go wrong? I'm sure we'll get into that because, like, listen, I have more business breakups than I do, like, romantic ones. Oh. So we've all been through different things, but I'm always happy to see a very happy duo. So, Kim, I did read that you were drawn to learning through connection and curiosity, which feels like such a powerful core for like little loving lessons. Was there a moment in your early days as a mom or as a teacher when you thought, this is how it should be done? So you loved the mental health and you were like getting into that. But was there a moment with your kids where you're like, that needs to be a story? Kind of like the way that Amanda had that was, you know, when she was in her behavioral therapy moment. Did that happen for you as a mom as well?
So I wouldn't say that my kids have sparked any books, but I have used the books we have.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with my kids, including that turtle book that teaches want to, have to, because my oldest is 5, and the story that I tell about that book is my little girl, she did not want to put her shoes on when we were going to leave. We have this routine. She sits on the couch with her juice, and then I say, okay, it's time to go. Let's go to the front and put our shoes on. And it was a power struggle every time. And she would want me to carry her to the front door and put her shoes on for her and stuff. Mm-hmm. And so I knew like that this book, it taught want to versus have to. So we read the turtle book together, and in it, the turtles get distracted from going straight to the sea. And so the kids will say like, should we go over and look at that log? Mm-hmm. And they'll say, no, we have to go to the sea. So we went through all that. And now since then, I'll say, like, you have to go put your shoes on. And now she understands that she has to. And that, like, completely got rid of our struggle there.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I love to see that. And so, like, you're utilizing this tool that y'all created. Like, oh, that's so beautiful. And of course, like, even having these tools might prevent a lot of things that maybe we did potentially need a book about, but now we don't, because some of those can be explained for them. I love that. It's so fun to like learn about that. And I mean, turtles are the cutest. So I like all animals, but kids love animals for sure. Do you feel like, I don't know, I feel like Nemo, you know, Finding Nemo, like Squirt, Crush, like Totally Dude, you know, all of that. Probably made kids love turtles even more. Did you name the turtles that like are in the book? Tell me about that. I'm not sure. It's just like the full story.
We actually didn't name them. We had started off naming them, and Amanda, was going to be the one saying like, no, we have to go to the beach. Mm-hmm. And we were going to name one of them after one of Kim's kiddos, but we ended up not naming them in the book. They're just the turtles.
You know what? It allows every family to name them.
Yeah.
Voila.
There you go.
Marketing. Oh my gosh. I actually do like that. Like it gives you more opportunity. Mm-hmm. And then the kids can say, you know, whatever they want their names to be. Or just call them like Turtle or Turt. Lol. I don't. Obviously, I'm not always great on the spot marketing, but we'll get there. So, Amanda, you're both building something that is just rooted with so much intentionality, but it still takes real structure behind the scenes. What are your early priorities when mapping out a Little Loving Lessons story? And what are you unwilling to compromise on? Is it the empathetic nature of the book that you're unwilling to compromise on, or the lesson, or I guess both? What do you think?
I would say early priority was just creating a resource. We didn't get into this to actually make money. It was just to fill a need. I needed a resource to work with these kids. And then it kind of developed into, we can help a lot more people. We can help teachers, parents, counselors, other therapists with that. And as for what we're unwilling to compromise on, we want this to be intentional, relatable lessons. We want it to be diverse. I'm showing kids from different communities, different ethnicities, races, and different socioeconomic environments, things like that. So I would say we're unwilling to compromise on those things. We want it to be relatable for anybody in the community to be able to use. And a lot of times, the books that I have are of a lot of white children, and I work with a lot of children of color. And so I want books that represent something that the families that I'm working with can actually relate to.
Yeah, I feel like if you don't see yourself in the story and if you can't relate to the story, I do wonder about, just on the topic of understanding, race and different backgrounds and sexual orientation background. I mean, there's so much diversity that makes, the world amazing. And I do wonder if the animals are a little bit more, because I've noticed that, like, you have Hillary, the alligator. Yeah. I forgot the title of the book. What was it?
Hillary the Space Alligator.
Space Alligator. Because I was like, oh man, she in space? Like, and to see her with, like, I don't know, she was really cute. And so I didn't get to read that book yet, but I was like, oh, I wonder if animals really do help kind of create that connection that we might be missing, or create that relatability automatically, because there's just not a concern about anything else. We're talking about the animal, but the story is relatable to everyone. And so I thought that was really interesting that I noticed you talked about the turtles. And then tell me a little bit about the story of Hillary, the space alligator. I want to hear, because I haven't been able to read that one yet. What's that one? Like, Amanda is like turning beet red, y'all. I wonder what the background of this story is.
Okay, so Hillary the Space Alligator is not exactly a therapy book. It's kind of just a novelty. I'm very creative. My brain is really random. And Amanda and I were in a car. We were on our way to the airport. We were going to go to Aruba.
Oh.
And yeah, my husband was driving, and it was like awkward silence time. So I was like, Cody, to my husband, tell me a story. And he is not creative, and he doesn't have the same talent that I do with that. And he was like, no, you do it. So Hillary the Space Alligator is just some nonsense that was barfed out of my brain. And Amanda was like, let's make it into one of our books. So that's how Hillary the Space Alligator was born. But she is in space all alone, and she finds friends. So
Aww.
It can be about acceptance, but really it's just a novelty book.
I think there's definitely that acceptance factor. I mean, an alligator in space. Does she meet other, like, I guess, aliens?
She lands on a planet and has a party with some giraffes.
So it's a giraffe planet.
A giraffe planet.
Yes. But they're all friends and accepting, and they have a party.
I love this. Women in STEM, It's so cute. Have you seen those TikToks that are like, it's a trend and it's a silly thing? Because you guys know I'm just a silly goose first. But it's like a woman screwing on a light bulb, and it's like women in STEM. Like,
Yes.
I was like working, I went to a baby shower recently, and I was working with some, they were like little LED lights on a little strip, and they were very small, and I was like messing around, like organizing them to go with these balloons. And my cousin, whose party it was, she just goes, I was like, I feel like I'm working with like fiber optics. She was like, women in STEM. And I was like, yes, ma'am. Well, I am very curious because, like I said, I've had, partnerships over the years that were just a little tricky. And we do know that partnerships in business can be very tricky because you have probably that friendship, but you seem to have a balance with each other really beautifully and an acceptance with each other. How do you navigate, like, if there's differences in opinions or approach, while continuing to grow through something that might not feel aligned? Like, when there is a difference, how do you navigate through that as a partnership? Just like yell and scream it out, or duke it out? Or is there, what's a kind of thing? Is there one of you that usually disagrees? Like, what are the vibes? Tell me. Divulge. They're like, not sure, y'all. Let's go.
Honestly, I don't think me and Kim have ever even had a fight.
What?
Yeah, there's not much tea to spill there.
We're on the same path a lot of the time. We have a similar idea, and I think we're both just open to hearing the other person out. And so if one of us is stuck, the other one will jump in. I may not think the same way that Kim thinks, but also she's half of the business. Like, her input in this matters. I'm going to trust that she knows what she's saying and where we're going and that it's going to be okay.
We both also know, like, where our strengths and weaknesses are. Like, I lean on Mander for a lot of her wisdom and, like, her know-how with the therapy side of it. And we're both very creative, but she will look to me for, like, what are we going to name this person? And what should this page look like? And things like that. So I think we just really match. And I also think that the fact that we didn't start this business because we needed money, we started this as like a resource for Mander, that really helped take a lot of the pressure off, because it was just like a group project that we get to work on together, and we both love it and we love each other, and we just had like talents that really blended together beautifully.
Oh, I love to hear that. Well, I think it's been kind of interesting because, like, as it grows, there's going to be new things, of course. But I do think that being able to rely on one another, and I do think also having that friendship background and that understanding of, you're not competing against one another, you have the same mission, is incredibly important. I do think because it didn't start quite as a business and it's going to go into being more of a business, it's really interesting because you guys both went out and you're just like, let's grow this business now. So, I mean, are you hoping that it does become a full-time thing? What's the hope?
Yeah, I think this year, last year we were just, developing resources. And this year, after some business coaching, we really realized like how big. We actually just had a Q1 review at O'Shea's. And we really talked about how big could this really get, and like if we had a physical location, what would that look like, and what are all of the parts of Little Loving Lessons if it like was really as big as it could possibly be. And I did ask her, like, at this point we could really say like, no, we just want to keep making books for you, or are we at the point where we do want to blow this, like we're ready for blowing this up as big as it can go. And we both decided that we would love to see it grow, love to be able to do it full time. So yeah.
I love to see that. Do you agree? Like, what was that O'Shea's drink that y'all had? If you're not familiar, because people do listen from all over the world. O'Shea's is a wonderful Irish restaurant here that we love with great cocktails. So I was just, did she need to basically get you to a bar to ask you those questions? Or what did it kind of feel like for you?
I was a little taken by surprise,
Really?
I guess. Because Kim said, I have discussion questions prepared for us to go over. And I was like, oh, okay. And she just kind of sprung that at me. And I think it's great. I love it. I just wasn't prepared to like really think about that. I guess I hadn't really thought of how big it could get at that point.
Because you were happy for those resources.
Yeah.
And you're like, these are really useful. And I mean, I would think with you seeing them being used, both of you, and it's working, that there's this energy kind of behind that. Is that like a driving force a little bit because you do interact with your own product so much?
I would say so, definitely.
Yeah, I think that would make sense. And especially with, seeing it with the kids that you work with over at 7 counties and then seeing it with your own kids, like that must be energizing as fuck. Because like, even if I've like spent too long away from like the WOW store, like I just got back from a vacation kind of thing. And I was just like, man, I miss my people, there's a lot of difficulties with running businesses, but I think there's this interesting line of like getting that validation. Also, you both are artists, and like getting that validation of just seeing the thing that you created do what you wanted it to do. Like there's not much more joy to me than that. So it's beautiful to see that you already have that, in your everyday lives. And I'm so curious about what a Little Loving Lessons like storefront would be. I mean, are there drawings?
We don't have drawings yet, just some ideas of what would be there. Definitely a little bookstore for us to sell our books. An event space, because we do events. Primarily, it has been immersive, interactive story times where we decorate a lobby to match the theme of the book. We read the book. All of the books have a tip sheet and an activity sheet in the back where we get to do it. So a space to actually have those, and kind of like a classroom. I think doing some parenting classes, workshops, things like that would be really cool to incorporate with it.
Yeah, and maybe even have like offices for therapists. And have it be like a therapy place too.
I was thinking Amanda might want her offices there.
That would be nice.
That would be cool. I think you could even get together with a daycare or something. Actually, I think there's one opening down the street from here. I wonder if they have extra space. Listen, this is a little early, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't at O'Shea's. Rude. Just kidding.
We our first O'Shea's date was our manifesting. And we've really manifested a lot of our goals already this year.
Wow.
So we said we got to go back.
Yeah.
Those spiked milkshakes, man, they did it.
Little Baileys.
Yeah. And actually, one of our Q3 goals was to be on a podcast. And that was...
Look at that. We're in Q2.
Exactly.
You're just doing it early.
Yeah.
And I'm just texting y'all like, hey.
Yeah.
I think you're cool. You want to be on my pod?
Yeah. So thank you for helping us make it happen.
Oh my gosh, anytime. Yeah. I love manifesting shit, and I love seeing it come to fruition. I think I've done 3 vision boards this year. Ooh. And the last one I did ended up being like the inspiration for, I'm like redoing my laundry room. And it's a very small room. She's tiny. But you got to walk through it to go to my backyard. So I was like, I painted it this one like light blue, and it just didn't feel right. I was like, what's wrong? And it felt like an old version of me. So like I really went into that envisioning process. And I'm like y'all, I think, I may be more like you, Kim, where it's like that vision part of it, I can see what the book looks like. Yeah. Can I draw a stick figure to save my life? No, I can do this shit. I can't draw. I'm learning. I can paint. Kinda. I can paint big stuff. I've learned that murals and not tiny details, that's where I'm at. But I was like vision boarding this, and I actually realized that like one of the trips that I took was like out west. And so instead of this like light blue color that I was trying to make this room look like, I was like, I'm going to add all this green into it because I'm like in my planting, like houseplant era. I don't have those babies yet, so I'm in my houseplant era. And I don't have new kitties yet like you do, Amanda. So I'm like, again, houseplants. But I just did my front yard, and now I've done some outdoor plants, but it was right before all the bees and the spiders came. So now I'm just like nervous to do anything else outside because like bugs. Maybe we can make a book about not being scared of bugs, but like because they do good shit. Yeah. My husband's like, we're leaving those spiders on the porch because they catch all the bugs.
I grew up like Forrest Fran, so me and my girlie, we love bugs.
You love bugs? Tell them about Forrest Fran.
So that was actually Amanda's idea. Forrest Fran, yeah.
And this is one of your books.
Yes, and this is one of our books. She lives on Forest Planet because she's based on me as a little girl. Mm-hmm. I lived in the Jefferson Memorial Forest here in Kentucky, and so no city water, no internet, all that good stuff that I loved as a teenager. But I had to go to school in a different county than my house was in. So she came up with the idea of Forrest Fran, who goes to school on City Planet. And all of the kids there are from their own planet. There's Tundra Tina, Lagoon Liam, and Desert Danny.
Of course there is.
And Fran has...
so cute.
Fran has anxiety about her new school, so her mom and her sister and her friends all teach her coping skills for anxiety. And at the end of the book, all of her friends bring something from their own planets to share with each other, and they realize that their differences is like what makes them special and unique and makes them love each other. So that's that book.
I'm not crying, you are. It's so cute. Yeah, because like there's so many things. I mean, each one of us are so individual, and like to be able to have that, I like that they're all different planets and they go to this one planet that's like different than all of their planets. Like I think that that's really cool as well. And so like, Amanda, you were out there and you're just like, Kim, I heard your story. I know your vibes. You said she has red hair just like you do, Kim. So I feel like that's a really cool vibe that your friend can notice that in you and then help you even through it. Like when you read it, are you like, this is little me needed this?
Yes, of course. And of course it was Mander who thought of that. She is the best.
Yay. Listen, anyone with the name Amanda, I'm into it.
I agree with that.
Kim is on our Amanda train.
Yes.
She's ready to go. Well, Amanda, I'm curious, let's go down the entrepreneurial route with y'all for a minute. So money can really feel like that loaded topic, especially when we're leading with our hearts. And I feel like that's really difficult to separate sometimes. So has your relationship with money changed since becoming a business owner? And what do you feel like has taught you about your own worth within this world?
I think I've always had a decent relationship with money. I think my parents did a really good job raising me to be financially independent. My dad would have certain ways of doing things, like charging interest.
He charged interest?
Yeah.
Same with my dad.
Yeah, if I needed to borrow money. And that was a good way to teach me, hey, later on in life, if you take out a loan or if you're putting money on credit cards, you're going to be charged interest. You need to be prepared for that. So I think my parents did a pretty good job of raising me to understand finances pretty well. I do think it stresses me out being a business owner now because it's we don't have money. We're just putting money in because we love it and we believe in it and we're hoping eventually we'll make money. But it's definitely a point of stress with being a business owner at this point.
Mm-hmm. Are you both able to put in money equally?
I would say for the most part, yeah. I think there's times where Kim can put in a little bit more than I can, but then there's times where I can put in more than Kim can. And
you can balance it.
Yeah.
Balance that checkbook after time. I feel like that's something that if you can keep grow as fast as both of you can grow. That's something that will keep your partnership together as well, because you might come to a point where one of you is ready to do something financially, and that's not where the other person is at. And in order to keep that partnership, it's going to be really helpful, I think, to kind of grow slower and grow with that intention that the partnership is what's the important part. Just as, unsolicited advice. No one needed to know, but
we love it though.
It's important.
Yeah.
This is some business coaching right here. Well, Kim, entrepreneurship really forces us to learn as we go. And I imagine that you both had to make some financial pivots like we were talking about. Is there one lesson that you've learned or changed the way you thought about money? So maybe when you were a kid, you thought about money one way and now you think about it differently. Or maybe even as a mom, do you think about it differently? Because I'm not a mama yet and I'm not sure what my thoughts will be around money when I have kids. But I'm curious about kind of your financial journey with that.
So I grew up lower class. My dad didn't have money to let me borrow. So we came from a place of scarcity with money. And there was a lot of, we don't have money for that. We don't have money for that. We don't have money for that.
Did they ever explain to you any deeper of what that meant? Or was it just the phrase you heard all the time?
It was the phrase I heard, and I would hear them complain about, we made enough money to pay bills, but if there was a situation that needed something past that, it was a catastrophe. Mm-hmm. And that pressure was really unintentionally, put down on all of us children as well. We felt that energy. So when I was able to get a job, I got one as soon as I was able to. One, to help my family because I felt like they needed me to support them and myself. And I saved a lot. And one thing that I did when I was able to have a job was I made sure I had $2,500 in my savings account because I didn't have anyone help me buy a car. And so I knew if I had that much, I could at least buy someone's junk in their yard, a car that was on its way out. And so I went through several cars when I was a teenager because they were already on their way out and they would break down.
Yeah, and that's what you could afford at the time. You have to struggle through that, but you were ready with that money and set aside.
Right. So if I had $2,500, I knew when this car goes, I'll be able to do it again. I've kind of kept that mentality of having a safety net that's my own, outside of a credit card. That's kind of I still have that, and it still gives me a safety feeling. And especially with having kids and going through layoffs and stuff like that, having something safe like that is really important to me still now.
Yeah. Do you feel that? I understand that scarcity mindset. And for me, it's one side of my parents was scarcity and one side was abundance. So I felt always torn between the two. But it sounds like scarcity was the majority of what you heard. Are you taking any steps to maybe it's not quite the time yet to talk about kids, but I'm sure they ask for things. So have you thought about how you're going to communicate that to your children? So maybe they don't hear the same thing that you did growing up, or maybe there's a deeper explanation of that. Have you explored that yet?
So a little bit. My kids, they do have opportunities to earn money from us, even though they're 3 and 5. They have like extra chores that they can do to earn money that like isn't really something that they're responsible for. But if they see the opportunity to do it and they can, then we'll give them like, you can go pick out a coin, or here's a whole $1. When you go to the dollar store, you can pick out one toy. And when we go to the store, because we still go grocery shopping. I know a lot of people order their groceries, but
I've never done that.
We all pack up in the car and go there and do it together as a team.
That's that millennial background that you were saying. Y'all are younger than me, but you said I identify as millennial. I don't think millennials order their groceries all the time, but that's just me, and I'm an elder one.
Yeah, but we have days where we go look at toys, and then we have days where we buy toys.
Oh, I love that.
And so we tell them, this is a look at toys day.
Yeah.
And so we'll still go to the toy aisle and walk around, and they'll like interact with them. But we're like, this isn't a buy toys day. Maybe the next time. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that my daughter like says all the time is, maybe next time. Maybe next time. Not right now, but maybe next time. That's like her phrase.
Do you like that? Is that feeling good to you?
Yeah, it feels really good to me because they appreciate it when it is a get a toy day. And somehow in their little tiny brains, they understand that it can't always be a get a toy day.
I feel like we're back to the like want to, have to turtles.
Yeah, absolutely.
The turtles have brought us all the way back. How cute. I will say owning a gift shop, and it's a dopamine explosion in here. So kids come in and they want to touch everything. They want everything. It's colorful. I understand that, but I don't try to make them buy things because I understand the difference. So what I tell them is like, oh, we actually just get to make a list of all the things that we love today, and you get to pick one thing from each store, and then you can talk about the list, and then like I usually don't get much past that. And then the parents might say something like, that would be great. Let's make a list of all the things we like today. And if we still like them next week or tomorrow or whenever, sometimes I let them fill in because it's not my responsibility here to understand their system, and I don't want to like inject anything, but I try to help the kids like know that it's very exciting. And I have free stickers in the store that I give out so that if they need something, because sometimes it's like a need, there's like a moment of just like, hey, I enjoy giving a sticker out. Would you like a sticker? And you have to ask mom and dad, or mom and mom, or dad and dad, like whoever is with you as your guardian today, maybe it's grandma, if you can have the sticker, if you can accept it from me as I'm a stranger. And they usually are all about it. Like the guardian usually says like immediately like, yes, oh my gosh, give them the sticker. There's just like so much that they need, that like hustle and bustle of just being in a new place. And like there's actually a lot more kids down here more often than I expect. The kids usually call us the dancing store or the pink store. I've been called the disco store a lot of times. And actually, I'm remembering this really cute moment that I had. It has been a while since I had this, and I might have told this story before. But there was this really great little girlie that she got her first money from the tooth fairy. I know. I was like, that's the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. And she wanted to spend it at woman-owned wallet because she wanted to put money in the wallets of women because she knew that that was good for everybody. And she told me that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. And so I always tell people we accept tooth fairy money. It's okay. And actually, one of the reasons I'm so excited about meeting y'all and having a little loving lessons, here at WOW is that for this summer specifically, we've been really focused on adding more to our kids section. So I want to make sure that what we do provide to kids, because a lot of my stuff is real sassy. She's got curse words, whatever. I do try to keep that stuff a little higher on the shelves. However, curse words are around, and words to me are only bad words when they have bad intention. So you can make any word a bad word. But for me, kind of knowing that they're looking around and they're influenced by everything. that I want them to have this like positive moment in the store, and I want them to know that there are certain things here available to them. And when I tell the parent, because they're going to be obsessed, they're going to be like, I have to have this book. I'll be like, listen, well, let the parent speak first. But then, it's okay. We get to look at it. You can open the pages. You can check it out. And then I can tell the parent, like, hey, just so you know, not only is this another woman-owned company, this is also a brand that was started by therapists and moms to help with empathetic teaching. So, like, there's this beautiful story behind it. And I mean, of course, then they're going to be like, take my credit card. I'm buying this book for my beautiful child. I'm like, of course you are, because it's so cool and they're already going to be in love with it. So I'm going to put all those books, available. And especially this summer, I'm just so excited. Wait, do y'all have your books in any other stores?
We have one of our books in Carmichael's kids bookstore.
Carmichael's. Yeah. Y'all, that's a beautiful local bookstore here. We're obsessed. There's also my friends that own Nook and Nowhere. Is that what it's called? Shoot. Caitlin, Nicole, I love you. I forgot if it's called Nook and Nowhere. I think it is. It's where Trouble Bar used to be. I got more people to introduce y'all to, but they own a cutie bookstore. But anyways, Caitlin and Nicole own it. Also fun duo, obviously. And they're amazing. I need to have them on the pod too. So we'll get them on here and we'll find out the real name. But I'm pretty sure it's Nook and Nowhere. And they used to own a bar and they wanted to switch it over to a cafe. So that's what they did. And they're obsessed with like the bookstore cafe vibe. So we need your books in there. And here, and we're all different, of course, different areas of Louisville, so that makes it really easy for people to find you as well. Hey, Moneymaker, did you know that one of the most powerful things you can do with your dollar is decide where it goes? Introducing the Woman-Owned Wallet Tour, your new favorite way to explore cities through the lens of woman-owned. From cafes and boutiques to salons and sweet spots, we're mapping out the baddest businesses powered by women. Think of it as a self-guided tour meets empowerment hour. Grab your friends, your wallet, and your walking shoes because we've done the research so you can do the shopping. Every stop you make puts money directly into the wallets of women, and around here, that's the goal. Ready to walk the walk? Visit womanownedwallet.com or come into our storefront in Louisville, Kentucky and start exploring woman-owned businesses near you.
Is it true that girls live longer than boys? This store is very amazing. It's so cool. Your shop is the cutest. I love all the pink, and I love that you're supporting women. Keep on doing what you're doing. All right, bye.
So I feel like now we've chatted a little bit about that money. We know what Little Loving Lessons is. I feel like the vibes are good. We get the duo. We're obsessed. We're going to buy every book for everybody in our families. And now I want to talk a little bit more about Penny the Piggy Bank.
Yes.
Because I was like, y'all, I've been waiting for you in my life. Because like I said, can't draw the same amount. If somebody was like, listen, we're going to end it all if you can't draw, I don't know, a still life, I'd Bob Ross that stuff. I don't think I'd make it out. I'd be like, give me some paint. Let's see if we can make it go. But we have talked about how this is kind of like a first real collaboration. I brought y'all a story. And so we are now like in development of a kid's book.
Yay!
So like I was telling y'all earlier, like when we first started chatting about it, I was like dreaming up this idea of a children's book series for Penny the Piggy Bank. She's our mascot for Woman-Owned Wallet. I haven't been able to tell everybody on the podcast like quite about that yet, but do I wear an inflatable piggy bank outfit to the events or not? Y'all have seen it, right?
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. It is amazing.
We love it.
She has bedazzled hooves. Listen, Mander, she gets her nails done every month. That is her self-care.
We're here for it.
She's here for it. She has eyelashes on her, and I did have to buy eyelashes off the internet that were like 4 hubcaps. So
Oh my goodness.
I was like, what's a big enough eyelash? And it's like a car. And so we glued those down, and then we bedazzled her, like her makeup's on and everything. And then she has a little bow on her tail, which reminds me of Eeyore, just like a little pink bow. But she cute. And then she had like spots on her because she's just a cute little pig, actually, not piggy bank. But I carry around one of my ka-ching buttons. Carry around the ka-ching button, and I let people hit the ka-ching button. And we always talk about how every penny counts when you put it in the wallets of women. And then they start to get it. So actually, I have to tell y'all, like, the first time I wore it at one of our events down here in Nulu was Bachfest this year. And Bachfest, have you ever been to it? Bring the kiddos. Oh my gosh, Kim, they're going to love it because they race goats.
Oh, wow.
I know. We're a weird city, but we're so fun. And so like last year we sponsored a goat, and her name was Ruth Bader Goatsburg. And she had a little like collar on, and she had a little gavel as she like ran. She didn't win, but she won our hearts, We need to write a goat story now. Like, gosh. Too many ideas. Careful when we open this exciting journey. It's never gonna. But okay, so I was wearing it around, and everybody's like, Bach is like a Bach beer. I didn't know that. I thought Bach was like a word for goat in German, but it's not. So Beer Fest and Wurstfest, so sausages and beer all day. And for some reason, there's goats running around. And it's because this is Market Street. So Market Street, like back in the day, was where you had the market. Surprise. So they like race all these baby goats, and on either side of us, they have these alleyways. One's called Nanny Goat Strut, and one's called Billy Goat Strut. And they're named after like all the goat races and everything. I mean, we're known for like horses, we're known for goats, we're known for pigs down the street. The poor piggies. But it's okay. So I was walking around in my piggy bank outfit, and everybody thought I was like a barbecue place.
Oh,
that was advertising. They were like, oh, where do we get some pig, some ribs or whatever? Some dudes like were gross because of course, but most of it was the kids running up to me, hugging my legs, like all this stuff. So cute. They're like, oh my gosh. And some kids like, like some kids are so excited and then they get too scared. And I had to figure out, I was like, it's okay. And I was like, would you like to push my ka-ching button? I'm Penny the piggy bank. And they were like, and I was like, oh, everything is coming down now. They're excited. They understand that there's like a thing going on. They got to hit a bedazzled button that made a ka-ching noise. Like, it was so cute. So cute. It was, I still need to wash that suit because it was so dusty that day. But like my little feet, I need to give her a pedicure.
There we go.
That's what she needs.
Yes.
She needs a pedicure. But like, it was such a weird day, but I was like, okay, now I've seen this outside of my personal events. Like, we had her at Pink Miss. We debuted Penny the Piggy Bank at Pink Miss. And then we had her at Galentine's Day. And I've worn it like once or other. Actually, y'all were at the Show Her the Money event. Mm-hmm. So I wore her to show her the money, and I was just welcoming people in. But I think I got our name tag that says Penny the Piggy Bank, embroidered by one of my other girlies that we sell in the store, a stitching witch, obsessed with her. And so I finally got it, and then people were reading her name tag and everything, and they were like, oh, she's a piggy bank. She's not a pig. Like, like people were like, there's tens of thousands of people at this event. So I got every reaction possible, but I was like, oh, she works. Like, she's here. People get it. And as soon as I say, like, I'm the mascot for Woman-Owned Wallet. Here's the map, and then I make it a whole thing and make sure all these parents see it. And they're like, oh my gosh, I love that store. And I'm like, great, wonderful. And then like a bunch of dudes walk around it. And I never know how men are going to, take what I'm going to say to them. So I just say it in a very positive way because that's how I know it to be and that's how I know it to feel. And honestly, they're so open to it, the people that I've met, for the most part. And so it was like a really interesting experience. But as you talk about your visions for what the future of Little Loving Lessons is, like, I get it. I get it because to me, I was like, oh shit, Penny the piggy bank. She's here to stay. And not only that, I'm like, I'm crafty girly. So I'm like, how do I make her even cuter?
Yes.
And I probably need like 4 outfits because like, I mean,
She needs outfit changes.
she does need, thank you, Amanda, you get it. And she needs different hooves.
Yeah.
Because each month she gets her self-care in there.
Yeah.
Will you help me design her little nails?
Of course.
Is there a nail book we can write? Like a self-care? No, it's okay. Stay on topic, Amanda. Get it together. Not you, Amanda. Me, Amanda. But, so again, she's here to stay. The inflatable version, totally cute. Maybe we've been talking a little bit, y'all, about like, what is she going to look like? And how cool is she going to be? I had like a little AI thing made up of her one time where it's just like, did I send it to you? Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I've had multiple AI things of her. So this one was like her wrapped in like money as her outfit. That was really cute. I have a little AI video. And trust me, like I know AI is a big thing and and I'm not like, this is just for me to help myself visualize. But I was like, okay, what if she could look like this? And what if she was walking down the runway? What if she was like next to Dolly Parton? And it's just really fun to like think through all those things. I mean, listen, Imagination Library should be our total goal. But I learned how that they accept books from that, and it might take us a minute, but it's okay.
Yeah.
We got time. We'll figure it out together. So anyways, we didn't immediately click that like this warm, empathetic story could really come from a piggy bank. Like, how are we going to talk about money? But then I felt like as we explored it a little bit more, we realized that money itself doesn't have to be like this cold, complicated thing. I mean, if you're listening to this podcast still, you know that. You know we're not trying to do this crazy thing with money. But there are so many ways to talk about saving and borrowing and learning about money that can create more neutral feelings around it and more empowering feelings around it, because money is so powerful. It's literally what runs our world, that energetic exchange and everything. But it can also be used to control people. And it's been used to control women for a long, long time. And obviously, gender diverse people, people of color, like we know the struggle with that. So I feel like if we can start to help kiddos understand that it can be neutral and then just used as a tool. So first, we go with the basics, neutral, and like the saving and the spending and trying to talk about that. So through Penny, we want to gently teach kids how to use their money wisely and how to build their confidence without fearing money. So what does that mean to y'all, like, about money in this way? Like, does that sound like something that the kids could resonate with? The kids, you know, not the Gen Zs, but the Gen Bs? Beta?
Whatever they are now.
Alpha?
We might be on B.
I think if I were going to have a kid today, it would be a B. It changes so fast now. It's because information changes so fast. But what do you think? Is that something that kiddos can really relate to? So you've already read the story. No spoilers here. You can't really spoil a 20-page book. I mean, I guess you can. But was that something you were like nervous to take on? And then when you read the story, you kind of got it a little more? Like, tell me the vibes of how you're feeling about Penny the Piggy Bank now.
I would agree with what you said, that we were a little hesitant just because we didn't know how it would fit. Obviously, we love you and we want to make something work. But when you did send over like how you want the dialogue to go through and that we do want it to be used to support children and have a lesson for them, if it's helping the kids, we're here for it. We're going to do it. So.
Have y'all been visualizing Penny yet?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
absolutely.
Oh, so pumped. I just feel like we need to ka-ching that. So I do kind of feel like Penny needs a little ka-ching. We got to figure out how to make those books that have the sounds.
Yes.
Those must be expensive.
Be great.
Well, I don't know. Somebody makes them.
Yeah. We can figure it out.
I'm sure a traditional publisher would upfront that money.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's get the self-publishing vibes going. And then we get that publisher in and we say, listen, you want to make this better? Add the ka-ching, bitch. And then they'll get it. So, I mean, I do feel like that story is going to be so good. And I think I was telling y'all that after that, like I was watching this TikTok that was, have you heard maybe of this idea of like channeling someone, you know? Like for me, I try to channel Dolly Parton like as much as possible. I'm like, what would Dolly do? But it's like channeling that person. Like you said with the turtles. They're channeling the little turtles and everything. I mean, like to want to, and all that stuff. That's adorable. So I want them to like channel Penny the piggy bank for when they need some like money advice.
Yeah.
Is that something that would have helped y'all growing up, do you think, if you learned that money didn't have to be the scarcity or that even the interest part of it, like you talked about, Amanda? Do you feel like there's that need?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people like avoid bringing up money around kids. They don't really know because they might not have a good relationship with money themselves. They try to protect their kids from money. And so, yeah, I think that having a Penny book that talks about it and really introduces it at first in a positive way would be really great for kids.
Especially if we're targeting younger kiddos. It's just starting it even earlier, giving them more and more to build on as they grow up.
So the goal would be to like have like 3-year-olds, 5-year-olds, just very starting out. Like I think the book we had was like maybe 20 pages. I need to look back at it as well because I was in like a whole creative mindset. Do y'all have to like set aside creative time to like really get drawing, get vibing, or does it like come to you at random times? Like what's that energy like for you?
We spend a good concentrated 4 hours together pretty much every Saturday where we get a lot of, I think like more of the business end on it during those meetings. And then we fit in that more creative illustration piece in our own schedules when we can. Like for me, I don't work my full-time job in the mornings often. And that is when I feel the most creative, either in the morning or late at night, but I don't stay up late at night. So a lot of the times I'm hitting it in that morning area.
Yeah, mine is more after the kids go to sleep time of day. But yeah.
I would imagine that makes the most sense for you. Do those kiddos get up pretty early?
Yeah, and I am very on in the mornings. So I use that usually for work to be productive. But yeah, in the afternoons when I finally get to chill and I can let everything go, that's when I like to illustrate.
How did you all get into illustrating as well? Like, that was something that I'm so curious because, I mean, I used to own a fashion brand. I taught myself how to sew. Like, there's no art school needed here. I'm wondering what that creative energy, like how that came about for you, that you were even interested in, and how did you hone the skill?
So we did not illustrate our first book, Forrest Fran, and going through that process, it was a little frustrating not being able to communicate our vision perfectly, and it was really expensive, and we're both creative people, so we decided to try it ourselves, and we really learned from this lady on YouTube. Her name is Art with Flow.
Ooh, cute.
Yeah, and she teaches you how to use Procreate, and she has a lot of tutorials and really creative stuff. We actually asked her if she wanted to illustrate some of our books.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she does her Art with Flow channel full-time, so she said, sorry, not interested. But
She's busy.
I know, she's busy. We're still like, Flo, you want to do a book?
Manifesting it.
Exactly. But yeah, we learned a lot from like tutorials from her. On Procreate is what we use.
Oh, I can't wait to watch it. So do you do it mostly on a tablet?
Yeah, we do it on an iPad.
Cute.
Yeah.
Sorry, my brain's like goes back to the days of when I wanted to be a colorist for Disney, and it was all on paper.
Oh, goodness.
I mean, 90s, y'all. Before that too. It was just so interesting. Do you ever imagine that your books will be animated one day, like into mini shows or anything?
We have some sequel ideas for some of our books, and we've been asked to do sequels on like the characters in Forrest Fran. There's been some people at some of our events who have asked, like, is Tundra Tina or Lagoon Liam going to have their own book? So we've thought about it in that way, but bigger than that, not yet. We thought maybe like some merchandise, a backpack that has Fran, because she's like a back-to-school kind of book.
Yeah, that's cute.
Things like that.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I think a backpack with Fran is where it's at. And sorry, I called her Fern earlier because my brain went to Fern Gully. Like I was telling you, like anything in the forest and Fran. It's just like, again, 90s kid. But these kiddos, again, they don't know that. So it's totally fine. Well, I love that we've talked through like what our visions are, our collaboration together. And I mean, we've really kind of talked through a little bit of the process. I guess, we talked about that off air. Very fancy. But I do think that maybe we can give people an idea of like when to be on the lookout for a Penny the Piggy Bank kiddo book. Personally, my goal was to get it for the holidays so that people could be purchasing it for all the kiddos in their lives. Do you all feel like I'm nervous? Like, is that an exciting like amount of time? Is it too much time? Is it not enough? Like, what are the vibes there?
I think it's in a reasonable amount of time for us to get it done.
I mean, I move fast, but y'all, I'm learning to move slow. I'm learning that it's got to be reasonable. Yeah. So a reasonable amount of time, they can be on the lookout for the holiday 2025. We're going to work out all the money and details behind the scenes, even though y'all know we love to chat about the monies. And we do know that it's really important to start our kiddos young learning about that so that they can really learn about the money mindset. But today, I just wanted to thank both of y'all for coming on the podcast. This was the first podcast you've ever been on, right?
Yeah.
First of many. I can feel it in my bones. I'm just like, let's go. And I can't wait to hear about, Fran and all her friends, because I do think follow-ups, sequels, all that, especially like anything with an alliteration. You got it. I love to see it. And so I feel like we're going to see this company grow so much. Little Loving Lessons is going to be Big Loving Lessons one day. But as we've talked about, it can grow at your pace and it can grow with your budget because unlike me, most people grow at a slow rate. And if you don't have to take on all the debt like I did to start all these companies and to learn those lessons, it's a good decision. So we're just going to keep that. And y'all know that I'm always here if you need a little business coaching or advice. And I'm so glad to have y'all as friends in my life. And thank you so much again for coming on the podcast. But for right now, I wanted to have everybody know how they could put money into your wallet. So how can they find you? How can they purchase the books? Give them all the vibes. And of course, y'all, we will mention this in our show notes as well. But I just want to hear it from Kim and Mander.
So we have a good little system. You can go to littlelovinglessons.com, and that has links to all of our books on there. And actually, Kim made that website for us.
Fancy Kim.
Everything in-house. And all of them are available on Amazon.
Oh, I love that. And just for the other services that you provide right now. So, Kim, you were telling us that you do social media management. Is that tell us where they can find that if that's something they need?
You can find me on Facebook or Instagram, Kimberly Tipton. And yeah, we can work that out. I have a marketing background. I love content. I love podcasts. I love video editing. Yeah, I'm really passionate about that. So yeah, if you need help with that, you can find me.
She might be on my roster, y'all. I always look at someone and I'm like, hired. And so Amanda, Amanda. But Mander, do you want them to give you a follow on Instagram as well? Or is Little Loving Lessons the main spot you would like them to find you?
I would say Little Loving Lessons. I actually do not have my own personal Instagram.
Wow. Oh, it's so hard to not, especially with business stuff. But you have an Instagram for Little Loving Lessons.
Yes.
And is that just Little Loving Lessons straight across?
Yes.
So easy, y'all lucky. Yeah. It's hard to get your own name on Instagram. Once you think of that idea, it's not always the domain. It's usually the Instagram name you got to grab first. I have 8 extras on mine just for future ideas. Well, again, thank you so much. And moneymakers, until next time, go out there and make that money.
If you want to put more money into the wallets of women like we do, then check out our website, thewomanownedwallet.com. And we can't wait to continue the conversation on our social media. So definitely follow us on our Instagram, @womanowned.wallet, and on TikTok, @womanownedwallet. You can support us by following our podcast on Apple, Google, and Spotify. And don't forget to leave us a review. Thank you for listening to Woman Owned Wallet, the podcast.